ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, the 4th chapter. And we have covered in great detail the study of the last 3 shlokas regarding the concept of karma yoga. That is, we hear generally from all devotees who are very sincere, devoted, but they are householders, they are married, they are occupied with their domestic and social and professional lives. They always come and say, with great sadness and sorrow, that we are poor householders, we are not sannyasis, so we cannot be liberated. Moksha and mukti is not available to us because we are householders bound to this world. But what percentage of humans become a Swami? What percentage? And that too within the community of Hindus or Christians or these 6 or 7 very important religious groups, those who have totally dedicated so-called whole-timers in spiritual life. How many there are? So do you mean to say that the Indian scriptures is only meant for that elite population, 0.00001% of the total population who are sannyasis? And secondly, we see that in the name of sannyasa, having vowed for sannyasa, we found they go astray, but the society worships them, admires them, because they have that stamp of sannyas on them. We have seen that also. And sometimes devotees feel that look at his character, his behavior pattern, his personality, and look at me. From the worldly measure, I am much better than what he is. All these things assail the human society. And that is why there are a group of people who detest the very concept of sannyas. They say it is self-deception. It's cheating oneself and thereby cheating the society. And some of us behave in such a way that their apprehension or their criticism is justified. Therefore, a very important question arises. Does the scripture only belong to that very, very few number of people who have vowed to be a sannyasi and those who live up to that vow? Do you mean to say the Bhagavad Gita or the Bhagavatam or the Upanishads, they are only meant for that handful of people? I am afraid if you think so, I must say your thinking is wrong. These Upanishads, they are known as Matri Sama. They are like the mothers. A mother have few children, say 5 children, 4 children. Some of them are saintly, some of them are not so. Do the mother have preferential treatment for any of them because of their behavior pattern? No. To the mother, they are all the same. And whatever the mother does, she does it even-handed, equally for the betterment of all her children, although 4 or 5 of them are of 5 different temperaments. The Upanishads and the scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and other Puranas are like the mother. They are meant for the whole human society. The worst to the best specimen of a human being walking on the earth, the scripture means the same to everybody. That is the first thing you must remember. The second thing is that if that is the same, is there any methodology where we, the householders, practice it in such a manner, though I am married, I am settled down, I have a family of my own, I have my immediate responsibilities, God can wait, the requirement of family comes first. This is my problem. And a Swami, if he is honest to his profession, he is a whole-timer. I can only think of God as and when I am free from all these liabilities, commitments, and sense of duty. Is there anything for me which as a householder I do and I reach the same goal that a sannyasi does? That is the challenging question of majority of humans regarding the scriptures. That is why, dear, the concept of karma yoga slowly developed in our scriptures, which is meant for all and sundry, whether you are a sannyasi or you're grihastha or you're a yogi or you're a tapasya of any other cult, it makes no difference. Karma yoga is a golden path, a shaded avenue to reach that goal. And in the 3rd chapter, I have not spared myself to describe the concept of karma yoga from various perspectives. The most important perspective is, what is the difference between karma and karma yoga? That is the most important concept. Both have the word karma in it. One is karma, the other is karma yoga. What does it mean? Yoga means a line of communication. And what is it? Karma is the highest common factor. And karma is activity. As long as I am alive, as long as I am breathing, I am active. That is common to all of us. whether you are a sannyasi or a grihastha, we are alive, we breathe and we say we are alive. And karma is a concept of duty. So for a grihastha, the duty is, first and foremost duty is, look after the family. Both the mother and the father, they are totally dedicated to the welfare of the children. And there has been a division of responsibility. Fatherhood is to earn and to maintain discipline, and mother runs the show with endless affection, forbearance, and forgiveness. The softest, the sweetest, the most gracious, ever forgiving, ever forbearing is the concept of divinity in motherhood, motherhood of the divine. So, he is involved, and that involvement is inescapable. A Swami, he has, right from the morning to evening, in an old orthodox traditional manner, he wakes up before 45 minutes of sunrise. He goes through an ablution of washing and cleaning and refreshing. He sits for meditation and etc., etc. Then he helps the Guru Griha, where he is placed for education, to contribute to continue the life of our ashrama. That is his duty. That is the Grihastha's duty. Duty-wise, we see it's the same. And while performing the duty, my ego is involved. I am doing it for this goal. Physical involvement, emotional involvement, rational involvement, egoistic involvement. They are common to both. Now look at the excellence of the thinking of the scriptures, which Swami Vivekananda, for the modern age, for the modern man, has made it explicit. He says, now let us stop. We have two words in English, work and worship. In Sanskrit, we have work and puja. Say work is equated with your sense of duty. While performing duty in a worldly manner, you are involved in four concepts: physically involved, emotionally involved, rationally involved, egoistically involved. And the activity is goal-oriented. I am doing this to achieve that. Good enough. What is worship? There are certain orthodox, conservative, ritualistic manner. And you have to perform that physically, emotionally, rationally, egoistically. What is the difference between work and worship? In work, it is not essential you remember God. That very work, with these four types of involvement, physical, emotional, rational, egoistic, that very work is known as worship, puja, when you have the involvement of the fifth concept, awareness of presence of God. And immediately your egocentric activities convert into divine-centric worship. And the expression is, seek nothing, ask nothing, pray for nothing, but only one thing, to be one with God. No other prayer. O Lord, let me be with you, one with you. Help me to be with you. Help me to realize and experience that you and me, we are not separate. Please help me. That is not a bondage. That is an incentive to mukti and moksha. So that desire is required. That is why in the Vedanta Sara you hear the word mumukshaktam. That is, I am ultimately, totally desirous of nothing else but liberation. So the concept of karma and karma yoga gives you this idea that each and every human being in any corner of this whole world, a part and parcel of human society, has an equal right to be one with God. As you choose your profession in the world, you choose your profession. I will be a totally dedicated, devoted, renunciating monk. That's a profession. And be honest to your profession. What are you doing? You are a whole-timer, not a part-timer. That is the only difference. But it is not whether you are a whole-timer or part-timer. It is the intensity of your urge. Tibra samveganam asanna. That is what Maharishi Patanjali says in the Yoga Sutras. That the most distinguishing factor is the element of intensity of your urge to be one with God. That does not make any difference whether you are a sannyasi or whether you are a grihastha. Thereby, Gita has developed this idea, making it as clear as a crystal, as reflective as a mirror, that karma yoga is the golden path to reach that goal. You live in this world, you work in this world, but you work for a particular goal, that is to be one with God. And in the process of working, you serve God in humans all the time. You see God in every being, in every man. That is the essential teaching of Karma Yoga, which has been covered in the third chapter, excuse me. Now we have studied it enormously and we have repeated now. Now in this chapter, it is known as Jnana Yoga, chapter on Jnana Yoga. Why so? After renunciation, what do you do, what do you not do? What happens to you? You practice for some time. And whatever the reasons may be, because you have a past karma, because of your divided attention, because of your lack of intensity, which you are not prepared to admit, you say nothing is happening. It's all a hogwash. It is all BS. you may destroy yourself. Destroy means from the golden path, you get down to this path. So, the most important factor behind this is you must develop a rock-solid, crystal-clear, intellectual conviction. I can sit myself and say, oh dear me, I've been telling I'm doing of my very best, but I have been half-hearted, I have not been totally dedicated, and 75 years have passed, nothing has happened. It's all a hogwash. It's all BS. It is possible. How to offset that? To have a rock solid, my niche word, rock solid, unshakable, immovable, crystal clear, no doubt, no hesitancy, intellectual, rational conviction. This is the way, this is the path. I am not reaching it because I have not made myself worthy for it. It is my fault, not the fault of the method. This conviction will come to you when intellectual conviction supports your behavior pattern or your life's discipline or man-making, character-building, disciplined education. Therefore, the third chapter is being followed by the fourth chapter. And such a convincing words can be only spoken by incarnation of God Himself. That is why, right in the beginning, Sri Krishna says who He is. He is the divine in human form, and He has the right to explain and to describe and to make it understandable to you and to me. Well, dear, this is again a preamble, an introduction to the new area of discussion that we will start now. Let us read the 15th shloka. Though it is a repetition, but it will give a catch to the study of the 16th. Evam gyatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhi. That is the first line. Evam gyatva. Here he says gyatva. Gyatva means having understood it, having been convinced with these ideas. Evam gyatva, knowing full well that by converting my flow of life from a karmi, an ordinary worker, to a karma yogi, working for God, to live in God, to live with God, to live for the sake of serving God and His children, and that too by the blessings of God. Nothing but God in my life. Evam gyatva. This is the sum and substance of the knowledge that you must have in a rock-solid, crystal-clear manner. That my life is totally dedicated to the divine. Now he doesn't speak of sannyasi or grihastha. He speaks to the human. Look at the magnanimity, the wit, the all-comprehensiveness of this teaching. No exclusion, all-inclusive. Evam gyatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhi. If you look back in history, if you look back in mythology, and slowly the area of mythology is being encroached by methodology, scientific methodology of carbon dating. And now Krishna, he was known to be a myth to us when we were children. Now Krishna, Dwarka, the empire and everything has been established as a fact of life, point of history. So we call it mythology, but it is a traditional history which has come down from generation to generation. So he says, people desirous of reaching that goal. What is that goal? To be one with the divine. People, those who are desirous to reach that goal, they have developed this complete intellectual conviction. That conviction is rock solid, unshakable. At the same time, that conviction is crystal clear. With this conviction, when we look back to history, we find people who have followed this path to receive liberation and salvation, emancipation and freedom. Purvairapi mumukshubhi. Mumukshu means a person who has no other desire in life but to be one with God. They have all followed this. He says, Kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam purvair purvatara kritam. Kuru karmaiva. Please, for heaven's sake, carry on with this practice of karma yoga. Kuru karmaiva tasmatam. You have no escape. It is compulsory. It is mandatory, stipulatory. No escape. Kuru karma tasmatvam. Kuru karmaiva tasmatvam. Why? Because you are in very good company. Purvai purvatara kritam. They have done it and showed to you. Maharaja Jajati, Maharaja Yadupati, Maharaja Janaka, and he was known as Raja cum Rishi, Rajarshi Janaka. Though he was an emperor, but he attained the category of a Rishi, knower of self, and he continued to run his kingdom, his empire. So you are in good company. So this is the essential lesson of the shloka. Please do not hesitate. Mold your life from an ordinary karmi, a worker, to a worshipper, karma yogi. What? Add that fifth concept, the fifth pillar, that God is everywhere and every moment of my life is serving God. And you don't wear it on your sleeves, you don't make a sham show of it. It is an inner organ which keeps on playing the music, not for the public, but for yourself. Now, he has concluded. But I'll give you an example, and I always make myself an example. I thought, it came as a brainwave, I would like to be a Swami. And the more I exposed myself to this idea, I was convinced that yes, I must be a Swami. But as soon as I thought of my mother, I started shaking. Why? I was caught behind hard stone and granite, as it is said. My duty is towards my mother and my father, my parents. They have brought me up, they have educated me, they will get old, I must look after them. That is my first and foremost duty. This is a concept of duty which you cannot deny. And the scriptures say, to be one with God is the best duty of life. So now, the scriptures say, this is your duty. And my upbringing and my emotion says, this is my duty. So I am torn between the two. Sri Krishna understands that. Listen to the first line of the 16th shloka, which we are to develop today. What does it say? Kim karma, kim akarma eti, kavayo api atra bohita. Word by word meaning. What is duty? What is not your duty? In such a situation, the example that I gave you, Kavaya, Krantadarshina, mature, stable, far-sighted, wise people. That is the definition of the word Kavi. Plural is Kavaya. Atra Mohita. In this situation, they are also confused. What to do, what not to do. Which is my duty? To stay back home, serve my parents, or I respond to the call of the divine to walk towards him, leaving them behind. In this situation, a wise, far-sighted, stable, mature person is confused. See how sympathetic it is. Don't say it is unsympathetic, heartless. Sri Krishna is saying this. Akabaya api atra mohita. A person of that qualification is confused in this situation. That is, in your life, situations will happen where you will be torn into pieces, what to do and what not to do. What is your duty? Sri Krishna says that, Kim karma, what is your duty? Kim akarma iti, what is not my duty? To decide this in this world, situations will come in your lifetime where the wisest, soberest, far-sighted, stable person is also confused what to speak of you and me. This is what he says. Now he assures you in the next line. Tatte karma prabhakshami jaj gyatva mokshase ashubhat. Tat karma prabhakshami. I will now teach you. Bhakshami is to speak to you. Prabhakshami is I'll speak in such a manner that you understand it goes into you. Tatte aham prabhakshami. I am going to now explain to you in such a manner that you understand it, it goes into you. Jajgatva, knowing which, understanding which, experiencing which, ashubhat mokshase. You will protect yourself from that which is not good for you. This is the essential assurance of God incarnate. That I will teach you, listen to me, look after me, after my teachings, and you will find I am guiding you through this mysterious world where there are occasions you'll be torn into pieces, not knowing what to do, what not to do, if to do, how to do, if not to do, how to avoid it. I will teach you that. That is how Sri Krishna introduces our next subject. That is shloka number 16. But please kindly remember this shloka now. The previous sequence of thought has stopped in the previous shloka. Right from Janma karma chame divyam evam tatanishaya. From that to the sixth shloka, purvataram kritam, is a section. Now a new section starts, and from here till the end of the fourth chapter, you'll be seeing how Sri Krishna develops the idea of being a karma yogi and the rational, intellectual, rock-solid, crystal-clear conviction which will keep you steady. Otherwise, a time will come without that intellectual backing, you may falter, you may fail, and you may quit. So that it doesn't happen, Sri Krishna tells you what is that rock-solid intellectual conviction. We'll go to the 17th shloka during our next discussion. And we'll study it from there to the end of the chapter, which has 42 shlokas. We will start on the 17th during our next discussion. Thank you, dears. Thank you ever so much.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.